morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. How are you going, Bob?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. This week I want to talk a little bit about real talk. Real talk moments are raw and unfiltered, where I like to offer genuine insights, challenging truths, or deeply personal kind of stories. I love a good genuine insight from conversations I'm fortunate enough to have, or observations with my own friends and family, or even strangers. These moments can serve as powerful anchors in my own life, confirmations of what I know and perhaps haven't had the outside world prove it to me by cutting through noise, pretense, or surface level commentary, engaging with vulnerability and authenticity. I find a treasure trove of lovely life moments to savour and hopefully share to the right set of ears who can either sagely nod with knowing, or it may be the confirmation that they need, the proof, the sign that perhaps that you're looking for. So I'm glad that you're able to join us today. And I mean, this glorious information will come in a myriad of ways in our lives, and I love those moments.
Me too.
Yes, I thought so, Bob. All right, I'm going to get real with you all, or, this is something that, different stories that I talk about, I don't share often, and but some things just need to be said, and this might not be a relatable struggle, but a few thousand years ago, I was asked to audition for the lead role in a theatre production. I had zero interest in doing so. I was in a rock band, and I just had the final breakup, one of many breakups, with said boyfriend at the time, and we're both in, as I was saying, I didn't say, but we were both in the same rock band. We were living together, and it turned out that it was the final straw for both of us.
My neighbour suggested I put cow manure on my strawberries. Well, I tried it, and I'm going back to whipped cream.
Bobby boy. So, anywho, it was my music teacher from high school, and we had remained friends after I'd left school. In fact, remained friends until she went and died, and that was the first death that I actually experienced in my life.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it was. It really shook me so deeply, and yeah, she was one of those people that had my back, and I met many people during her life and after, she had passed, that shared how much she had cared about them in different ways, how much she'd cared about me, and how important I was to her. And it's such an honour. I am one of many that she had helped, guided, believed in, and expected your total everything to achieve whatever musical genius she had summoned, and out of us she would get it and throw us into the limelight. It was all her. I met her when I was 13 and she was 21, forever in my heart and my head.
In your head?
Yeah, I can hear her say things at times as though I can imagine what her thought or opinion would be about certain stages or things in my own life, and I feel her close at times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is. Many of us feel past loved ones around us, and yeah, it is nice.
I was thinking a real smart TV would increase the volume when you start eating chips.
Such a good and valid point.
Yeah, I thought so, because that munchity crunchity is as loud as shit.
Yeah, righto. So as the story goes, I had not long left high school, and she'd asked me to audition for the show, and she went on to say that if you audition, we'll give you something to do seeing as you're broken up with your boyfriend. And you know what? She was right. I did need to do something. And we'd been in Christchurch for the weekend. We were just driving back down the coast, back home, and we'd stayed at her brother's. And for context, this woman was brilliance personified. We were really good friends. We were very open with each other, and I haven't repeated most of what she's told me, nor will I ever. As I said, I still feel her around me at times, and I loved her like the amazing chick that she was, and she will always be.
Yeah, well, so her brother's place. Wasn't that home of the musical loo?
Yeah, it was actually the loo.
Oh, yes, the loo.
The first time I'd been on a loo that sang, well, in this case, it played the Queen's national anthem. Let's see, that must have been about 1981. Yeah, because I left Australia in 1982.
So you stayed at your ex-teacher's brother's place and...
Well, on our drive back down the coast, back home, she talked me into learning the songs to audition for this role. And long story short, I did.
Sarcasm doesn't get you anywhere.
It doesn't, does it? No, it really doesn't.
Well, actually, it got me to the Sarcasm World Championships in Peru in 98.
Really?
No.
You know what, Bob?
Yes.
The skin tag was a person.
Yes.
That's all. Hashtag Real talk. If it wasn't for her, my teacher, my friend, if not for her determination, her vision and belief, many of us will have been much less. Now, some of the pictures of the songs were way out of my range. Well, I thought they were. And the songs were of another era that I didn't believe I could do.
Not rock and roll then?
Well, I recall at one of the many practices, I finally said to her, I don't think I can do this. To which she said, oh, yes, you can. She thought I meant my voice, but I meant doing the entire lead role. I was filled with self-doubt about my ability to pull it off. It all felt way over my head, and in many ways it absolutely was. But because she had the vision, she could see what I could do. I did what she said I could do, and some. And so the point is...
Yeah, the point!
That was a pivotal moment. Had she not had the belief in me, and had I not had the respect for her, that would have changed the course of my life. That is the important point. She believed in me and defended me until I found it myself. But she was my mentor. I didn't realise that at the time, of course. I was lucky such a powerful woman taking, such an interest in me. Then we ended up being great friends. So lucky. So I'd sing over and over and over. I would go over the script and commit every word to memory. So I am now the person encouraging all the way with my kids and others that I know. Some people listen, they are ready to take flight, and others don't hear it, can't hear it, and don't grow. Important, though, to encourage whoever you can.
Yeah.
As I walked the beaches where I lived, I would sing at the top of my lungs. Man, I love singing to the sea, right at the shore, really open up and just give it my all. The same as I walked across a large area called Ashbury Park from my hometown, singing loudly and fully, not thinking anyone could hear me, just so I could sing with ease and just strengthen my voice, which is something I've been blessed with, which is a very strong voice.
But wait, people did hear you?
Yeah. Actually, I found out years after the piece, years later. I was living in Australia by this stage, and I'd come back to New Zealand for one of my many visits, and a gathering I was at, one of the houses that backed onto that park where I did my full voice singing, was a lady who heard me sing many times across that park, and it never occurred to me that anyone was listening, and her feedback was lovely. She just said she loved it. Well,
what a blowout.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of neat, actually. I'd forgotten that I'd been singing across that park for years. But a free-spirited girl I was.
Was?
All right, am. Highly recommend to anyone who sings or wants to sing or sing with strength, get to where you can really open up your voice. Like when I was in early stages of rehearsing for the Rocky Horror Show, I lived in the countryside. At that stage, the house, the property that we lived on was on a hill. So I used to sing while walking downhill into the gardens and then proceed to walk back up the hills. Up and down I go without realising, again, I was building the strength in my lungs and therefore my voice.
Oh, yeah.
And again, a neighbour way over on another property used to sit in her back veranda and wait for me to start singing. And I found that out by chance too.
A chance encounter.
Yeah, pretty much. Very cool it was. So I was halfway through the rehearsals of South Pacific.
Are we back to the other story, the other show?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, just trying to keep up here.
Good on you, Bob. When it occurred to me that I hadn't given my ex a thought, it really was over.
It was over.
That's right, Bob. I was dating others and having fun, and I had to stop singing rock.
Oh, what a sacrifice, because you loved your rock songs.
Yeah, a bit rough on the old vocals. They had been advised as I was singing more lilting styled, beautiful kind of music.
South Pacific.
Yep. That music first premiered in 1949 on Broadway. Isn't that amazing? So if you're familiar with the music, you'll have some idea how very different the music was to rock. Quite lovely.
I was thinking about contrary quotes, like birds of a feather flock together, and then you've got opposites attract.
Yeah, quite right, Bob, actually.
The pen is mightier than the sword. Then you've got actions speak louder than words.
I do like your observations there, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't realise at the time that I was months out from leaving my hometown for good. It was an idea that wasn't sort of in my mind. I was 20 years old and free. I had a job that was literally going nowhere and I was fed up. And I guess in many ways the town was too small. My family was busted in pieces and the only thing I was doing was the show. And it was fun because my friend, who was also the music producer of the show, who had put me forward, and I got to see her all the time.
Dentists always ask dumb questions like, when was the last time you flossed? Like, bro, you were there? I mean...
One of my friends came back from Aussie for a quick holiday to see her family, and while she was here, she said, "You should come to Australia. You'd love it. Come stay with me. Well, we'd been best friends for a long time, and suddenly that was my direction. After South Pacific was done, I was going to leave New Zealand and start on the next part of my life. Actually, I think I was just planning on going for a few weeks, a bit of a holiday, because my music teacher, my friend, had said, hey, come back, we're going to do West Side Story and I want you to do that. And I thought, okay.
My wife asked me if I could clear the table. Had to get a running start, but I made it.
Bob. Well, I think I'd barely the fare to go to Australia. I had no savings. I'd never really saved in my life at that stage. I'd had a week-to-week paycheck, spent it all well before my next pay was due. I loved going out dancing and just having fun. I was in bands as well, so loving life to the max.
I called up my landlord and said, hey, I've got a leak in my sink. And he said, go ahead, I'm not judging.
The good news was I was walking straight into a job when I got to Australia, so that was good. I don't recall telling my family, must have mentioned it to my mum because I was living with her before I left, but there was no one concerned about me going. Apparently, I wasn't going for long. I can't really remember if I ever thought I would come back. It was just one of those things. I got a ticket and I was off. I was going, a one-way ticket, and I had $40 in my pocket. I remember that.
Well, I've been banned from the Secret Cooking Society. I keep spilling the beans.
Oh, Bob. When I look back at all of that, if that was my daughter telling me, I'd be horrified. Oh, my goodness, that would not be, oh, yeah, no problems. Not one bit.
No.
No, there's just no way would I be allowing any of my daughters just to casually just jump over to it. No, that wouldn't have been that simple, let me tell you.
So, I've been thinking, what is imposter syndrome?
Well, imposter syndrome is the persistent feeling that you're a fraud, despite evidence of your competence and achievements. It's a sneaky voice in your head that says, I don't deserve this, or I'm just faking it. Many people experience imposter syndrome at various points in their lives, especially when stepping into new roles, starting something unfamiliar, or even when they're achieving success. While it's easy to feel alone in this, it's actually more common than you might think. Successful people, from top executives to artists, have openly shared how they too have struggled with this feeling of inadequacy. The real trick is learning how to laugh at it, because at its core, imposter syndrome is often just a big joke played on us by our own minds.
They take it easy on yourself then.
Well, that's right, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. Imposter syndrome doesn't reflect reality. It's a byproduct of self-doubt and perfectionism, not a true indicator of your abilities.
Oh, that's good. It's good to know.
It's easy to think everyone else is somehow more competent than you.
How could they compete with this fineness?
Well, that's right, Bob. How could they?
Yeah, me. I'm talking about me.
Oh, I know, Bob. But the truth is almost everyone feels like an imposter at some point. Knowing that even the most successful people have these doubts can turn that feeling of isolation into something, well, relatable.
Yeah.
So when you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, imagine that every person in the room, even the confident-looking ones, silently saying the same thing. It's kind of funny when you think about it. #real talk. Challenges are often portrayed as obstacles to be overcome or problems to be solved. But it's important to understand that they are inherent and just such a natural part of life. Just like the clouds in the sky. The clouds, clouds don't signal an impending disaster. They're just simply part of the weather system, shifting and changing with time. Similarly, challenges are neither punishments or signs that something is wrong. They're simply the fluctuating elements of our personal and collective journeys. And I often have said to my own daughters and friends that very often when we're in the middle of change or we're going through something very new, we might be feeling a little bit challenged by it. There are so many moving parts. You have no idea what kind of morning that they've all started with. To think that everyone else has got it together is honestly, it's not happening. This is planet Earth.
You always say that.
Okay, that's right. It's planet Earth. We're all learning. We tend to sugarcoat or downplay challenges because they make us uncomfortable, and we live in a society that often values quick fixes and smooth plans. But in reality, challenges are as normal as the sunrise and sunset, appearing in various forms throughout life. They shape us, help us grow, and encourage us to adapt. So here we are, we're presenting the hard truths here, being direct about what works, what has worked, what didn't, why is crucial in navigating life's challenges, but also to those we share this valuable information can help others so much. When we honestly assess situations and reflect on our actions, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our decisions, and the outcomes they lead to. The self-awareness is key to personal growth, resilience, and the ability to adapt and improve over time. And here's why it's so important. Because from that, we gain clarity and accountability. Real talk moments resonate because of their blunt honesty. Don't sugarcoat the challenges, failures, or mistakes. Be direct about what worked, what didn't, and why. And offer a takeaway. To offer yourself a key takeaway with a real talk moment should leave you feeling like, that this is a worthwhile lesson, an affirmation, a little bit of thought-provoking insight to chew on, and maybe an encouragement to push through a tough time or a cautionary tale. Ultimately, letting go of the mask is not only a gift to ourselves, but also those around us, as we can show up in our relationships and in the world as our true, unfiltered self. It displays realness, and we can learn by not applying extra pressure for no good reason.
Well, you're not keeping it real then?
Well, that's right, Bob. Keeping it real means you will be finding your own potential. You'll be able to explore what it means to look inward, acknowledge fears, and unearth hidden strengths and desires for change in your life, which is absolutely fantastic.
You really mean that, don't you?
I do.
Being real must be a sin because I keep getting punished for being real.
I hear you, Bob. There will always be people who are supportive of you, and there will be people who aren't, and they are not your people, Bob. And that's plain negativity, Bob. Keep it honest, keep it simple, and keep it real. As Demi Lovato said, I try to keep it real. I don't have time to worry what I'm projecting to the world because I'm just too busy being myself. And isn't that just right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And there you have it, Bob.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanks. I don't know who said this quote, but here it goes. If you expect the world to be fair with you because you are fair, you are fooling yourself. That's like expecting the lion not to eat you because you didn't eat him. Oh.
Yeah. You're not going to show empathy to that lion, are you?
No, I think I might run. So in regard to showing empathy, relate to your potential experiences. Don't judge them because then that way you're understanding yourself just as you would to a dear friend or to a child, an adult child too, that people just want to feel seen and understood, don't they? And so by sharing your experiences and what you've gone through, it helps people to be braver about their, challenge ahead of them, which might be a job interview, or they might be going to start learning a new skill or start playing sport. It could be anything, a myriad of things. So I think it's really important to be your boldest, be your rawest.
Rawest?
Yeah, like being raw but ist on the end. Rawest. Rawest?
Rawest.
Yeah, most heartfelt self. And it's often in those moments that, you start really, really, truly believing in yourself.
I misplaced Dwayne Johnson's cutting tool for the origami workshop. I can't believe I lost rocks, paper, scissors.
Good one, Bob.
Yeah.
In some contexts, real talk can also extend to standing up for social or political issues that matter to you. It's about speaking out against injustice, inequality, or hypocrisy and advocating for change when necessary. In this sense, real talk can mean challenging the status quo, even when it's unpopular or difficult, because your values and ethics are aligned with your action.
So not an easy task then?
Well, it depends. Many more people can see the heinous lies, the corruption. It's not a stretch anymore. Real talk is what so many of us are looking for, whether it be from each other, from media, from every sector on this planet. We know that we're not hearing real truth about very little. Sometimes real talk can also refer to being realistic about situations. This might involve recognising challenges and limitations and avoiding overly idealistic or fantasy-driven thinking. Rather than pretending that everything is perfect or that things are easy, it's about acknowledging difficulties and taking practical steps to navigate them.
When I see people walking around in the parking lot looking for their cars that they only parked only 10 minutes ago, I think, you are my people! Oh, yeah.
Rejecting pretense and materialism.
Oh, come on now, is this real talk you be talking?
At a broader level, real talk can be a rejection of superficiality or materialism.
I reject superficiality. I reject it, I say. Hey, my house is haunted by a chicken, a poltergeist, a foul spirit. I plan to call an exorcist to help it cross to the other side. Yeah, it's good, eh?
Hashtag real talk. Many see it as a refusal to be swept up by the need for status symbols, whether that's in the form of possessions.
You were going to say possessed like my poltergeist joke.
No, it wasn't actually.
Oh, all right then.
Appearances or wealth. Instead, it's about prioritising real values like integrity, kindness, and personal growth over the pursuit of external approval or shallow or really fake, say, success.
All my childhood punishments have become my adult goals.
How's that?
Eating vegetables, staying home, taking a nap, going to bed early.
Me too, actually, Bob.
Yeah.
Sometimes real talk can also refer to being realistic about situations. This might involve recognising challenges and limitations and avoiding overly idealistic or fantasy-driven thinking. Some folk have displayed fantasy ideas about not only their futures, but change their past to the point where none of it is remotely close to the truth. And that will always be for many reasons. And some people have suffered so much that the past is simply too difficult for them to deal with. Or it could be that they just want to create another reality. It's not always as simplistic as pretending or difficult, depending on so many factors.
I went to the doctors the other day complaining about my sore feet. The doctor said, gout. And I said, but I've only just walked in.
Real talk can also be acknowledging difficulties and taking practical steps to navigate them. In essence, real talk isn't just a phrase, it's a mindset that encourages people to live authentically, stay true to their beliefs, and interact with the world in a genuine, grounded way. It challenges people to be more vulnerable, transparent, and accepting of both their own humanity and the humanity of others. Yes.
Yes, what I say.
Me too, Bob. Absolutely.
Hey, are you superstitious?
Oh, not so much.
Yeah, me too, although I'm a little stitious, so not so much the super.
Hashtag real talk.
Hey, what do rich people say when they tickle their baby? Gucci, Gucci, Gucci.
Owning your truth. Real talk also means accepting and owning your own truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And it doesn't necessarily have to be uncomfortable, but sometimes it can be that way. And sometimes it is with great peace that you can just own who you are on whatever and whoever that is. Because to coin a common phrase, it is what it is. And only we as individuals know that what that it is. Real talk asks us to acknowledge our failures, our struggles and challenges. It's so helpful to other people to know that, it is a part of life, that it is incredibly normal. It is what has to happen in order to grow, rather than masking them behind a facade of perfection. In doing so, you allow yourself room to grow and learn, while also encouraging others to do the same. This honesty with yourself and others fosters greater self-respect. Hashtag Real Talk. As we wrap up today's episode of Real Talk, I want to thank you for tuning in and engaging today with the conversation. Those that do, it's wonderful. And we've touched on some powerful truth today. How having those honest, no-filtered discussions can open doors to growth, connection, and deeper understanding.
And we are all about growth.
Yes, growing ourselves with pots of love is essential.
So is feel well, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, Bob. Real talk isn't always easy, but it's so essential, whether it's with yourself or with others. Being honest about your thoughts, feelings, and struggles can help you navigate life with a lot more clarity. It leads to healthier relationships, fosters personal growth, and can even help you make decisions that align with your true self. You'll know when you're ready, if you don't already, and how beneficial it is. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Keep having those meaningful conversations. Stay true to yourself, and don't be afraid to dig deeper. We're all here to learn, grow, and support each other. So say good day to the family for me. Give the cicada killer wasp a squash, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then. Bye.
Bye!